Okay, so all right, so we'll start like we always do, sitting. I've got my blankets folded in a slightly different way this evening because we're going to use them in this fold. Um, which, like I was saying, if you don't have yoga blankets, you can use a cushion off your sofa or, a firm pillow of some kind. But we're going to be using this little blanket stack in a couple of different ways. So, yeah. And great. So we can begin just sitting cross-legged and working with the connection that you have to the surface you're sitting on, making sure that your sits bones are pointing straight down into the blankets or cushion, and that you are not tilting your pelvis forward or back. So the rim of your pelvis should be parallel to the floor. And the next part of grounding into the base of your pose is letting go of tension in the legs, which often is held right about in here. And so if you've got tension in your legs, sometimes leaning back and changing the cross or changing the position of your legs or wiggling can let some of that go. And then once the base of your pose is established, then we create the inner lift that starts from the very lowest abdominal region. So pulling in and up right here, and then lengthening all the way up through the front of the spine, right to the center of the chest here. And when you come to the center of your chest, then from this midpoint, we spread outward to the outer shoulders. And then the shoulders themselves are relaxed and releasing down. The weight of the arms is at ease. And your hands are resting in your lap, palms down or palms up. Allow your eyes to close or just take your gaze down to the floor. And at this point, we just sit for a minute and kind of let the events of our day go, whatever they might have been. And instead, focus on your breath without forcing it to be any different than it usually is. Just let the in breath and out breath be your guide. And now bringing the hands together and taking the thumbs near the breastbone, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Lengthen through the back of the neck and take your chin toward your chest. At this time, we will set an intention for our practice this evening. So whatever it is that you wish for yourself or for others, go ahead and let that bubble up right now. And then release your hands and lift your head. All right, so the strength part of yoga for healthy aging is super important, and we can always look at strength in a lot of ways. It's physical strength, mental strength, spiritual strength, strength of the breath, all of those things. And so typically when we work with asana practice, we we focus on certain parts of the body, and I'm kind of working my way down today. So we'll start with the upper body now. So taking the arms up into cactus position or airport radar, and keeping the upper arms parallel to the floor without creating tension in your shoulders. Lift the pit of the abdomen, that's the lowest abdominals. And then we'll just turn to the right and then to center and turn to the left and to center and repeat, right, center, left, center, and one more time each side, right, center, left, center. And now we go to the right and we come into the twist using our arms to support us. So placing your hand behind you, your right hand behind you and your left hand on this, on your right knee. Inhale, lift up, and exhale and deepen the twist. And now take the left side of your waist and move it back without changing anything else in the twist. So that's engaging those oblique abdominals and the laterals, those wide, strippy ones along the sides. Keeping the breath steady on an inhale, lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, twist. And now we unwind and we come back to our cactus arms, and this time we'll go to the left first. Left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center. And then to the left and hold. So coming into the twist, using your arms to help leverage you into the twist a little more deeply. Inhale, lift through the spine, exhale, and using the breath in this way helps to open up the spaces between your vertebrae. So with each inhalation, grow taller, and with each exhale, take your twist a little deeper, wherever that takes you. Move the right side of your waist back. And then we undo and we let our cactus go. All right, so changing the cross of your legs now and taking the, let's take the left hand to the side of your head. So this is a neck strengthening thing that you can do in a lot of situations. You don't want to do it maybe in a meeting, but because they might think that you're fed up with whatever's going on in the meeting. But taking the left hand to the side of your head and push in a little bit, and then push your head into your hand and feel the side of your neck growing strong, just from this very simple isometric move. Really easy stuff, not hard to remember. Getting a little strength along one side here. And release. And then let's try side two. Push and then resist into your hand. Oh, it's like, blah. You don't have to make that sound, but it kind of helps. Yeah. And release. Now, interlacing the fingers and putting them behind your head, right? If you can get your hands to fit in that groove below your skull, right? So if your shoulders are tight, that might be a bit of a problem, but do your best with that. Tuck your interlaced fingers deep into the back of your neck, and then lift your head up. Lift it up, lift your chin. It might not go very far, it might not go very far at all. And it's as if you're squeezing your fingers, but you're also strengthening the back of the neck and getting a little stretch, a little traction, a little opening in the front of the throat. And release. Take the arms down. And now we can take the arms overhead. So taking the arms straight up overhead and reach through the sides of the waist. So as if you've got like a force field between your hands. It's as if you're trying to push the hands together, but they don't go together. It's like two magnets that are both the positive sides are trying to push together and they're resisting. Feel that, and then lift higher through the sides of the waist. Reaching up, feel that the shoulder blades are supporting your arms as you take them up instead of the tops of the shoulders. If this is creating too much tension in your neck, make it wider and still have that resistance between your hands, that push like you're holding a giant beach ball. Crush the beach ball and then release the arms and down we come. Okay. Now we can go, we're going to go into some shoulder rolls, which we do a lot. This is just a counter pose for what we just did. So lifting the shoulders up by the ears, rolling them back and down. And forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back and down. And one more like that. Ooh. And then we go the other way. Pull them back, lift them up, roll them forward, back, up, forward, down. And a few more like that. And there we go. So we can now move onto our bellies on our little blanket stack. So the blanket stack for this next bit is still upper body stuff that we're going to be doing. And where you position yourself on your blanket stack is balancing yourself so that your pelvis is on the blankets like this. You should be able to lift your legs easily. And then the real litmus test is, can you lift your arms without doing a face plant? So let's see everybody get set up. Yeah. And just test out the lower half of your pose and then test out the top half. The top half is the trickier part. So you should be able to lift your legs pretty easily. And it should be, the blanket stack should be in a place that's not like hitting you right in the diaphragm so that it's hard to breathe. So you want to make sure that it's mostly the pelvis that's on the blankets. Okay, so from here, we'll go into Sphinx pose on the blankets. And lengthen the legs by lifting them and stretching them back one at a time. So feel the length of the legs and then press into the tops of the feet and raise the arms up into cactus position. Inhale, lift up, exhale, back to Sphinx, and you can let the head drop a little and we'll repeat that. So this is like doing flies. If you had weights, you would be doing this and lifting. And then placing the elbows and hands back down, let the head drop a little. Take the breath. Next, inhale, lift up, raise it up. Feel the front of the chest opening, release, drop down. And we'll do a couple more on your own. Raising up, feeling the strength of the upper back. Release, let the head relax, and one more, and release. Okay, you can come back and let your head rest on your blanket stack in child's pose. Let everything relax in the upper back, feel the roundness of your upper back. And then place the fingertips by your knees and press up. Okay, so for the upper body now, we'll move to the wall and we'll be doing what's known as wall push-ups, and they're really fun, and they're not hard to do, but if you do enough of them, they're very strengthening. So just give me a minute and you can watch, and then we'll do it together. Let me raise this baby up. Okay, so over here I got my wall slice, and the first thing you want to do is angle yourself from the wall enough so that you're going to have to do a little bit of work. Your heels should stay on the floor. So take a look. Here's the wall push-up. So you bend the elbows, but you keep them close, not out like this, but pull them in like this. Keep them close to your sides. Your nose might come near the wall, and then you press back, come to Namaste because we're doing yoga, and then fall right in and press back. And this is what we'll be doing, wall push-ups, okay? So you guys got your walls set up and get your bounce going. We're gonna do a set of 12 to 15. I'm gonna let you decide. So you're counting. You do not have to touch your nose to the wall to get it close. Remember to keep your elbows tucked by your sides and keep your whole body in a straight line, so you're not bending at the hips or waist at all. And just, doing this, these are not for babies. So you'll start to feel this in your triceps, maybe a little in the biceps also. And once you've done your 12 to 15 wall push-ups, then you end by shaking out your hands, rotating your wrists, and twinkling your fingers. And feel it right here. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So now in Tadasana, that's mountain pose, we're going to spend a little bit of time working on the strength of the feet. And in today's newsletter that I sent out earlier, I talked about, how wearing shoes is maybe not the best thing in the world. I mean, sure, we need shoes in a lot of situations, like going to the grocery store because they won't let you in otherwise. And, certain social situations you need shoes, but in your house you don't. And then there are other, opportunities to go without shoes, like walking on the beach or taking a walk outside in nature. So you still can't see my feet. I'm trying to get them in there. Let me tilt down one more time. Let's see if I can get. Yeah, there we go. So I'm in Tadasana. So I'm doing this from the side so you can see. And so for Tadasana, we want to remember the four corners of the feet, which are the big toe mound, the pinky toe mound, the inner and outer heel. And so you engage those four corners by lifting your toes up. And then let's go ahead and keep the toes lifted on the left foot and put the toes of the right foot down. Pull back in your left heel. Put the ball of the foot back down and then press out through the toes. And do that on the other side. Lift the toes and the ball of the foot up on the right. Pull back in the heel. Put the ball of the foot down and press out through the toes. So that should give you a real good sense of the four corners of your feet. So feeling the inner and outer heel, right? Feel the big toe mound and the pinky toe mound. And then what you should also feel is that your arch is lifting. So one of the ways that we can, get that to be more evident is to push a little harder into the big toe and the outer heel at the same time. And that kind of diagonal energy will lift the arch a little more, or give you that awareness. Your arch is probably already lifted, but it'll bring the awareness to it. So there we go. So those are the Tadasana feet. And so now we're going to come up onto our toes in Tadasana, lifting up onto the toes slowly, makes it harder, and then roll back down, and then lift the toes up and take your weight into your heels. And we'll rock forward again, lift up onto the toes. Feel how the ankles respond to this. Strong ankles are really important for a lot of things like walking, and then lifting the toes. And then up we go again, onto the toes, way up. Feel how the big toe becomes the leader in this, and then roll down and onto the heels, lift the toes. Let's do 2 more without me talking. And 1 more. Woo. And there we go. Excellent. So yeah, that's something you may actually feel tomorrow. Doesn't look like much, but there's a lot going on there. So now we'll take, if we have blocks, you're going to use 2 blocks and put them in the center of your mat. Tilt down again. You see my 2 blocks, they're side by side. And then the blankets, we're actually going to put on top like that. So we got this platform here. So this is just a way for us to sort of challenge our balance a little bit while we're working with strength, because the when you're working with your balance, your muscles are always trying to find the best way to hold you up, and so it's a little more challenging to do it with props like this. So this can also be done without props though, if this isn't going to work out for you, but I'm going to show first and then you're going to do it with me. So stepping up onto the blankets and then taking the left leg back enough so that it's angling back behind me. And I'm going to bend both knees, so you can see I'm working with balance here, coming down and then lifting up and down, woo, and up. So that's the whole thing. All right. So we'll start standing away from your blankets a bit. Let's take the right foot up onto your platform, whatever it's made of. Wiggle the left leg back enough so that it's angled behind you. And then as you bend both knees, you're just dropping the thigh bone down in your left leg and bending the right knee to 90 and coming up on an inhale and dropping it in low and then coming down. And here's 3 and 4. This is starting to get to the quadriceps probably. And 5. We're going to do 1 more. And there it is, 6. So yeah, stepping back, do a little something, shake the legs out a little, and then we'll do the left side. So stepping the left foot up, angle the right leg back so that it's behind you, so wiggle it backward. As you bend the left knee to 90 degrees, drop the right knee straight down, bring the arms up into cactus, And then release. And drop it in. And release. Here's 3. Keep the low belly toned the whole time. And 4. And keep it steady, even though it might feel a little wobbly. And last one. And out we come. Again, shake them, shake your legs out. Okay, so now let's set this aside and we'll work our way into some standing postures. Starting with our old buddy, Warrior 2. So getting yourself set up so that your mat, you've got plenty of room to work, and stand in the center of your mat in mountain pose. Bringing the fingertips to the breastbone, step the feet wide. So this should be about a 4 foot, span between your legs, 4.5 feet. Bigger than that if you're taller, So now turn the right leg out and lift the left heel up. And bending the right knee over your ankle. That's an exhale. Inhale, straighten the leg, release the arms. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, dropping it down. That's 3, we're gonna do 6. So this is getting into the quads again, a little bit into the hamstring on that front leg, and the adductors on the back leg. 5, and last one. 6. Beautiful. Turn the feet to face center, then spin them around to side 2. Raise the arms and bend your left knee over your ankle. Exhale, inhale. Straighten the leg, release the arms. 2. And 3. 4. 5. Keeping it steady and smooth as you move in and out of pose. 6. And there we go. Turn the feet to face the center and step them together. Now, we'll work with triangle pose, but we're going to mess with it a little bit. So most of us know triangle pose already, but I want to do a quick demo. So the blocks are set up so that I can put my hands on them. And I'm going to step my feet wide again. So this time you're just watching, turning the right leg out to the right, and then coming out and placing my hand on the block. So now I'm in triangle pose. So the thing that I'm going to do that's going to create strength along the side body especially is in pressing down, like really pressing firmly down into the legs, yes? Creating a lot of downward action in the legs. Then feel the lightness in the bottom arm and lift it. And then feel the top arm, reach it. Oh, and this is called blowing triangle. Ah! And then we'll come out like that, okay? So let's give it a shot. Stepping the feet wide. Turn your right leg out 90 degrees, lift your left heel up and turn your foot in about 15 degrees. Then reaching out through the right arm and taking it down to your block. If you don't have a block, use your shin. Swing the left arm around and up to open up the chest. Now feeling the alignment cues of triangle pose is important. So the arms create a straight line. The front leg is lifting the quads, gives more length on that bottom side of your pose, the right waist. And then there's an inner lift in the back leg. And then all of this, we're going to really push into the feet until your bottom arm feels light enough that you can lift it up and take it up by your ear. And then take the top arm up by your other ear. Take a breath or two. And then release and lift up. That's something, huh? Yeah, you get into that one. So turning now with the left leg out, the right heel lifts up and moves back. Reach out through the left arm and place your hand on the block. So lift the quadriceps of your right leg and pull the right femur bone back. Lift the inner thigh of the left leg, and so that you can feel that there's some opportunity to really strengthen the legs enough so that you can then raise your left arm, the palm up, as if you're like serving something to someone. This would be a very odd way to serve. And then taking the right arm over, reach into this blowing triangle, taking a couple of breaths here, and release, and stop to come out. Release the arms and turn the feet center front, step them together. A couple of shoulder rolls. Whew, that's good stuff. So now we're going to work with one of my favorite poses, and I know some of you guys really like this one too. It's Tadasana, which is the half moon pose. It is a strong pose. It's also a balanced posture. Balanced postures really, I mean, they make you stronger. Of course they do. So I want to just show this one first, and then you guys can do it with me. So I got my blocks a little bit lower. Wait a minute, do I really want to do that? No, I'm going to keep them up high. That's what I want to do. I'll keep them tall. And for this one, if you don't have blocks, it's going to be a little tricky. But you can kind of just improvise or go back into triangle pose and just leave it at that. So for the beginning of this posture, we start with the same stance of triangle pose. I'm going to take the arms up by my ears and go right into that blowing triangle again. Then regular triangle. Bend the knees, sweep the arm, lift the back leg up. Tadasana. Whee! And then going backwards, bend the knees, sweep the arm, triangle pose, lift up. All right? There we go. So let's try it. Taking a stance that's actually a little bit shorter than the triangle pose you usually do. And turning the toes of your right foot toward the end of your mat. Raise both arms up on an inhale. Yes. And then we go right into the blowing triangle just for a tick. Ooh. And then open it into regular triangle pose. Bend the front knee and at the same time, sweep the left arm around, lift the back leg and come up. Tadasana. Yeah. Strong balance posture. Now to come out, bend the knee, sweep the arm, triangle pose, and then up we come. and release. Nice. We're going to do that 2 times on each side. So in case you loved it, you get to do it again. And in case you didn't love it, maybe you just want to watch. But we are all going to do the left side. So turning to the left, turning the toes out to face the end of your mat. Sort of a wide stance, not quite as wide as your regular triangle. Raise the arms up on an inhale. Reach through the sides of the waist and tilt into a blowing triangle. Oh, and then open into a regular triangle. Bend the front knee and sweep the left arm, the right arm around as you come over the block or the floor. Ardha Chandrasana. Yeah. And then release, bend the knee, coming up, triangle pose, and out we come. Okay, let's go to each side again. So if you watched any of the floor exercises in the gymnastics and the Olympics, this is kind of like that. Yeah, it is. All right, so taking the arms up, inhale, reaching through the sides of the waist. Exhale, coming into the side blowing triangle, and then opening into regular triangle. Bend the front knee, sweep the arm, and raise the back leg as you take the top arm up. Feeling the power of this pose. And there's a lot to feel here. It's mostly about the legs, but it's also about the core. The inner thigh of the top leg doing a lot of work. The abdominals and the muscles of the back doing a lot of work. Bend the knee. Place the back foot down. Coming into triangle pose and lifting up to come out. And release. Okay. Left side, second time. Turning the left leg out. And right heel lifts up and comes back. Arms overhead, blowing triangle, and tilt. Then release into regular triangle. Bend the front knee, sweep the top arm, raise the back leg. Ardha Chandrasana. Feeling the 4 corners of your standing leg foot. Feeling the lift of the inner thigh and the back leg. Feeling the whole front and back body doing the job of holding you up in space. And then bend the knee. And coming into triangle. Lifting up. And release. Yay! Alrighty. Well, that's definitely using the core a lot. We have a few more for the core because everyone loves that kind of work. Yes. And so we'll work with our little platform again, our 2 blanket platform. Bringing it back. Center of the mat. And then this one, again, if you would watch first, it'll be easier because some of these poses are not, some of this stuff is obviously not strictly yoga asana, but basically, gym stuff, right? That's okay. So to come into this, you come down. And then I'm actually going to scoot so that my butt is not on the platform, right? Bring the feet together. So the blanket stack is in my low back here. My sits bones are clearing the blanket stack. And then I'm going to raise my head up and hold it with my hands. And then the fun begins when we take one leg up and down, and the other leg up and down. I'm not taking my head all the way to the floor, and I am supporting it the whole time. All right, so you ready for this? This is, these are like one-legged crunches. I can't think of a better name for them, unfortunately. So get yourself on your platform, get your butt past the edge. Place your feet together and feel the belly, you know, like feel the toning of the belly right now. So get that happening before you start to do the work in the pose. So lift the pit of the abdomen. As you lift the pit of the abdomen, it will help to ground you in this, so that you're not struggling as much. So reach back and take a hold of the back of your head and then lift your head up. Now, raise your right leg up and take it down. Take the head back a little bit. Raise the left leg up and take it down. Yeah? And right leg and down. Left leg and down. Right leg and down. Left leg and down. Let's see if we got two more. Right leg. Breathing all the time. Left leg. Woo, right leg. And left leg. Woo. Excellent. Now for a counter pose, just wiggle your way backward until your pelvis is on the blanket stack and you're just relaxing here for a minute. Let the muscles of your abdomen get a little opening, a little rest. A few deep breaths here. And then we come off by turning to one side and lifting up. Okay. So back to the blanket stack. This time we're going to come on to the side. And again, just take a look before you do. I'm actually going to put my greater trochanter right on the middle of this blanket. And then I've got my arm underneath my shoulders for support, right? And then from here, you can also use this arm in the front if you need. But from here, we're going to lift the legs up and take them down a few times. And don't do yet because there's more. And this will happen a couple of times. And then we'll bring one leg forward, top leg forward, catch here, and then lift up and come into the side arm balance like so. Okay, so first we're doing stuff to strengthen the top part of our pose, and then the second part where we're holding a more traditional yoga posture is for the bottom half of our side body. Alrighty, so get yourself on your blanket stack on your side and make sure you can support yourself on your elbow without creating tension in your shoulder. If it feels terrible and it's too much, you can try taking yourself lower like this. You know, that'll work too. But if it's okay on your shoulder, come up a little higher because you get a little more of the contraction on that side is more evident if you're up a little higher. Okay, so with the legs together and the feet are flexed, lift the legs up and take them down. And up and down. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more for good luck. 6, and down. You feel that right here, right? And then the right leg comes forward, or the top leg. I didn't actually tell you which side to start on, but your top leg comes forward. Then put your, straighten your arm and put your hand basically where your elbow was. And then from here, you want to, use the legs to help lift you up. So I'm going to push into the front leg a little and then come up. And then once you're up, you're holding yourself with the, what is this guy? Serratus anterior and the oblique abdominals. Yeah, a whole lot of stuff going on here. Side arm balance, super strong pose. And then down we come, and we can switch to the other side. Yeah. So getting right in the middle of your blanket stack with your hip. Having the legs coming straight out of the, side body so that you're in a straight line, kind of a side lying Tadasana. And then begin to raise the legs up and down. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. That's 3, up and down. 5, release, and 6, release. Fantastic. So now taking the top leg, bringing it forward, and coming up onto the hand of your bottom arm. Use the power of the legs to help lift you up into side angle pose. Yeah. So feeling the side body on the lower half of your posture doing the work here. Keeping the chest open, keeping the breath steady. And then release. And there we go. That's pretty good. Okay. So we've got some more things that we can do with our little platform here. And we're still working on the core strengthening poses. This next one is called hunting dog or balancing cat. Kind of depends on who you talk to. And for this one, I'm going to add a block out here on the end, like so. And once again, I'll show, and then we can do it together. The difference between doing this pose just straight on the floor and doing it on something like these 2 blankets is, again, it makes that kind of a wobbly thing that makes all of the muscles fire, hold you up in a particular way. Okay, so coming on to the knees like this, and I'll put the block under, this will be my right arm, and then the left leg lifts. No, wait. The right leg lifts and the left arm lifts. So this would be your balancing cat or hunting dog. This here has to lift. Lift it up, keep it lifted, and lift the leg from the inner thigh. Okay, so there you go. Let's give it a shot. So taking the blanket stack and kneeling on it. And the nice thing also about this is it kind of allows you to use your toes on your leg that's still down to sort of help stabilize your pose. Place your right hand on a block and then take the right leg up and back. Stabilize this by lifting the pit of the abdomen. Take the left arm forward and reach. Feel the diagonal reach from the left shoulder blade to the right hip. Feel the pit of the abdomen lifting you up, and use the serratus anterior, the outer shoulder blade on the arm, to keep the arm up, and use the inner thigh on the leg to keep the leg up. Ooh! And then release and come down. It's pretty good stuff. Let's do the other side. So the block is under your left hand, and the left leg comes back and lifts up. The right arm comes forward and up. Yes. And so here we are, balancing, lifting the pit of the abdomen. That's super important. Feeling the diagonal reach from the right shoulder blade to the left side of your pelvis. Notice that the right arm is being held up by the outer shoulder blade. Feel the inner thigh lifting the left leg. Take another breath and then release and come down. Yeah. So rotate the wrists a little bit. Conduct the orchestra. Get the whole arm and the shoulders into it. Excellent. I don't know what kind of orchestra this is, like an underwater orchestra. Okay, so now we'll move into bridge pose. And we're going to elevate ourselves in the bridge pose as well. And for this, I'm going to use the 2 blocks with the 2 blankets on top. This big stack, like so. And what this does is, you know, bridge pose is something that we do a lot, but it feels a lot different when the legs are elevated. It makes the legs work more. So, starting right here, I'll quickly show what we'll be doing. This is another one where we'll be doing repetitions. So, press the knees forward and lift up, bridge, and then lower down. So that's basically it. So get yourself situated with your feet on your platform. We're going to do 10 to 12 reps of this because we're going to we do a little bit quicker. And so the mechanics are important, that you keep your feet parallel the whole time, that your knees move forward to lift you up instead of, you know, using a lot of your butt muscles to lift you up, because once you're up, then your butt muscles are going to hold you there for a breath. So here we go. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then up we go. And coming down on exhale, that's 2. And coming down on exhale, and 4. Use the breath. Feel the whole spine rolling down. That's 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. And if you've got it in you, you can do 2 more bonus lift and lower. This is getting into the hamstring strengthening. You know, we're always trying to stretch our hamstrings, and this is strengthening all of this and the muscles of the gluteals. All right, so that was fun. So now we're going to wind down. We've got some restorative poses for the end of class because I don't know about you guys, but I'm sweating a little bit at this point, so it's time to cool off. And the first restorative that we'll be working with is legs up the wall pose or Viparita Karani. And I'm going to show a good way to get into it that's less messing around. So I've got my little blanket stack here. Here it is. I'm going to come to the wall and lie back so that when I'm at the wall, I got 90 degrees behind my knees and my shins are parallel to the floor, right? And then from here, I simply lift up and pull my little platform underneath me. And get it where I want it. Oh, that's the spot. And then the legs extend. And here we are, Viparita Karani. You can do different things with your arms depending on what you want from this. If you want a little shoulder opener, you can work with cactus arms or arms straight back. If you just want to chill, bring the arms into Shavasana or hands resting on the abdomen. So choose what works best for you. And you can see I'm not super close to the wall. This is an inversion, but I'm not trying to get my butt up against the wall. Just trying to create enough of an inversion to let the legs, the veins get a little reverse circulation, and also the lymph in the legs drains back this way. So it's a nice restorative. So hanging out here, making sure you're comfortable. So working with the relaxation in this pose is important. Once you're in it, then you can, just like as if you were in Shavasana, if there are any little micro adjustments that you need to make to get everything in the optimal, comfortable, I don't have to do any work position, then do that. Yeah. And then notice that the muscles of the abdomen, the belly, they sink, they drop down, and they become wide. And this part right here is what this pose is named for. This is the peaceful lake right here. So as you're hanging out here, you might start to notice a little tingling or numbness coming into the feet. That means it's time to change the position of your legs. If you don't feel that, then you're good, just stay where you are. But if that's starting to, the feet start to feel like they're losing some circulation, then bring the soles of the feet together and drop the legs down into modified Baddha Konasana. Now to exit the pose, bring the legs with the knees bent just as you did to start with. And you can either just go in reverse, come out, slide that out from under and come down, or you can roll off to one side. And up we come. And we can take our second restorative, which is Supta Baddha Konasana. So for this one, we'll take the blanket, one of them, and open it to this size, and then fold it, or excuse me, roll it along its long edge. So along this edge, roll it up like that. Got a long skinny roll. The second blanket, we're going to put on top of a couple of blocks. And this, it kind of depends on the person. You can do the 2 blocks on the same height, or you can have one slightly higher than the other. I would keep them pretty much either on the lowest or medium height. Don't try to do it over the tall setting of your blocks. If you don't have blocks, then you can just use a sofa cushion or folded blanket by itself for the top half of your pose, and then you cover that so that it's soft with the other blanket. And then coming so that you're about 1 hand's width away from the platform, and bringing the legs with the feet together and knees apart. Take the rolled blanket and put it over the tops of the feet or the sides of the feet, and then pull the edges of the blanket underneath. Hold on to the edges of the blanket and come down onto the platform. Oh, I need a little more under my head. There we go. Perfect. So once you're here, you want to make sure you can establish a certain level of comfort. The legs should be pretty much taken care of by this blanket, right? If the upper body feels like there's too much going on with too much pressure coming into the back from the blocks, then you can take the blocks away and just do this lower. Or you can make small adjustments by taking hold of the ribs and pulling, and then circling that arm, and then same thing on this side and circling the arm, and then that will help to settle the back body onto the platform a little bit. The front of the throat should feel soft. So if your head is pitched back and the front of the throat is hard, then you need more height underneath your head or less height under your chest. And the collarbones spread, the shoulders themselves are relaxed and releasing down. And again, options for the arms include Shavasana, which is what I'm doing pretty much here, with the arms out with the palms up, or hands to belly. If you want to be stretchy, elbow clasp and arms overhead, like so. Uttanasana is one of those poses that you can stay in for quite some time. So I give you the option now to continue to rest in Varkonasana if you're finding this to be really wonderfully restorative, or to exit the pose and work your way into Shavasana, either supported or not. So it's up to you where to go next. If you want to do a supported Shavasana, you've got all the stuff you need right here. Head support. And a back of the leg support. It's not a big one, but it's right there. So why not use it? It's not exactly behind my knees, but slightly above my knees, the blanket roll. And then the head is on the folded blanket, but the shoulders are not. And here we are in Shavasana. So if you're still in Varkonasana, continue to enjoy that. If you're making your way into Shavasana, take the time to feel the midline of your body and to map your awareness onto the right and left sides and to have them match up. So your right arm and left arm are exactly the same distance from the body on each side. Your right and left leg, same thing, they're coming out at the same angle. Notice too if some of the smaller parts of the pose need adjustment, like the shoulder blades being pressed evenly into the floor, right and left side, and the buttocks, same thing, right and left butt cheek resting evenly on the floor. And then the other thing to pay attention to is whether or not you slightly turn your head or tilt your head. So you should be resting on the roundest part of the back of your head. And then once you've gotten into Shavasana, if that's where you are, then you let go of all the effort that you may still be holding on to from any of the other asana that we did earlier. It's an opportunity to be aware of places in the body